Alright guys, so today I'm going to be making a foot pad for this, a lot bigger one. I did have a plastic one, but on my last trip to a really muddy area, you know, it kind of sunk down in the mud when I put the bike on it, and then it kind of snapped it in half because this is, you know, kind of was a pressure point on it, and snapped it, you know. But I was never really happy with using those anyway, because you got to get them out of your bag and you got to, you know, find the right spot and still position them. I want to have one that's on there all the time, so I'm going to make one to bolt onto there. I wanted to make one that I could drill through this pad here and bolt it, but really then you're going to have a bolt sticking out on the bottom, and that's just not going to work because I don't have a thick enough piece of aluminum to like countersink that bolt in. So what I'm going to do is make a pad that goes around it and then comes up the back, and then I can bolt like a piece to it here, and I think that should work pretty well. But what I also got to be wary of is, let me flip the kickstand up, is that when this comes up like this, I need to keep this, you know, the pad away from that, because this kickstand can flex in if you bump something, and I don't want it to flex in and then my swing arm come down and it put a notch or start dinging it and that kind of thing. So that's where I'm at, and I am going to be using some cardboard and kind of cutting out something that I want to start with. So stay tuned. Alright, so I cut out this, and you can see I've kind of marked it to the back, so that's how it's going to be. I've kind of notched this and sliced this off, that way it's got full motion of the kickstand here, or the swing arm here, and then when if it gets bumped in, it's got this little notch to go in, and then even then, if it doesn't clear, you know, that doesn't clear it, it's still going to hit the kickstand regardless of whether you've got a foot pad on here or not, so I don't think it'll matter after that. But pretty much I'm going to use this as the actual foot pad stencil, and then I'll just have a piece coming up off the back and make it from there. Alright, so here's what I got to work with. Just a piece of, I'd say like 1/8 inch diamond plate. It's pretty easy to bend. It's already been bent. This was a skid plate that was given to me that somebody took off with a dirt bike or something, but I'm going to try to get it as flat as I can, that way I can cut my bottom pad out. Alright, so I pretty much took this and I traced it on my aluminum and I cut it out. I didn't have really the right thing I needed to cut this super well, but it's going to work. I tried my Dremel with the heavy duty wheels on it, cutting wheels, and they did not work. And then I tried I had some diamond cutting wheels, and they didn't work. So pretty much I just used this, and it just took a couple extra minutes. But it's so big, you know, you got to kind of hold everything. But anyway, that's what I got, and pretty much I'll cut this out or notch that with the grinder and get all that off there, because you can see I didn't cut it all the way there. And then I will pretty much mark this as to where it's going to sit. It'll be something like that, and then I'll bend this right about there, flip it up, and then I'll, you know, connect it with a piece of metal that'll go all the way around the kickstand and leg. So yeah, stay tuned. It's going to be sweet. Alright guys, so here's what I got. Pretty much got the pad cut out about the way I want it. And then I've got this somewhat to shape. It's going to have to be cut down a lot. Pretty much almost all the way to where the bolts are. But pretty much it's going to go on just like that. And then I will bolt it to it. So yeah, there's how it goes, just like that. Then I can bolt that to that, and I've got a pile of nuts and bolts and lock washers, and I'll probably put some Loctite on here for sure. Yeah, that should give me quite a bit bigger pad space. Hopefully I won't have as much problem. So stay tuned. I'm going to drill some holes on this side and bolt it up. Alright guys, so this is pretty much the final bit here. I've got everything drilled, and I've got the bracket shaped, and I've also grinded down the edges the best I can. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt this together and show you the finished product. Alright guys, so here's the final product. It is all bolted together. So it's not the most beautiful thing, but it will do its job. You can see it'll go up there and it won't hit the swing arm. So I think it should be good. The bolts on the back stick out more than I wanted, but I put shorter bolts in it as I tightened it up and the aluminum stretched. So I may make some changes eventually. I don't know what, but if something comes up and I need to change it, it's easy enough.
This chapter is great. They all have a common goal of just wanting to help the students. I've been inspired by the teachers themselves.
It's got a little bit of a gap on the foot pad there, but when it sits down, it doesn't really matter anyway. And I don't think it sticks out much, at least not any farther than that or the peg, so it isn't going to catch anything. It definitely doesn't stick out farther than my peg. So I think it should be good. That'll make it much easier than using a plastic foot pad that I got to dig out every time, then clean the mud off of before I stick it back in my bag. So yep, there it is guys. Thanks for watching.